I spent thousands of dollars testing woodworking tools that you probably have never heard of, but would absolutely change the way you work in your shop. Some of these look basic at first glance, but they solve problems you have been silently putting up with for years without even realizing it. So today we are looking at the top 10 woodworking tools so good they should be illegal in 2026. 10. 32-piece wood carving kit. Now you know how they always say whittling is one of the most relaxing hobbies in the world? And how it is supposed to calm your mind and give you something to do with your hands? Well, there is one problem nobody talks about. Starting is terrifying, because staring at a blank block of wood with no plan and no tools is the fastest way to quit before you even begin. That is where this 32-piece carving kit comes in. You get 4 whittling knives, 5 detail knives, 6 basewood practice blocks, a spoon blank, and a handful of templates so you actually know where to start cutting. The blades are stainless steel mixed with moly vanadium, which is a fancy way of saying they stay sharp way longer than they should for the price. And they come pre-sharpened out of the box, which saved me an entire afternoon of setup. The whole thing rolls up into a PU leather bag that genuinely looks like something you would gift to somebody. Perfect entry point into the hobby. 9. Rua tool, Japanese handsaw. Now, the first thing every woodworker learns the hard way is that Western saws fight you. You push, the blade bends, your arm gets tired, and your cut line wanders off into the wild. And in a world where every other tool has been reinvented twice, the fact that people are still wrestling with push saws feels like technology from the 1800s. But that is where this Rua tool Japanese pull saw comes in. Instant clean cuts, and it does all sorts of crazy things too. The blade stays perfectly straight because it only cuts on the pull stroke, which means almost zero effort on your end. It runs a 6-inch SK5 high carbon steel blade, hardened to around 60 on the Rockwell scale, which basically just means it stays sharp forever. The best part is that it is double-edged, 17 TPI on one side for hardwood, and 14 TPI on the other for softwood. Flush cuts, dowel trimming, detail work. Your dashboard of saw problems suddenly disappears. 8. Weddell's Corner, clamp set. We are going back to the glue-up table, and I want you to think for a minute that it is Saturday morning, you are trying to assemble a picture frame, and your hands have officially turned into jelly. Sure, you could ask somebody to hold it for you, but there is nobody home, and the glue is already setting. That is where these Weetall's corner clamps come in. I know we have had regular clamps, but now we have their smarter cousin. You might be wondering the mechanics behind this. Well, each clamp locks your boards at a perfect 90 degrees while you drive screws or wait for glue to dry. It only takes seconds to set one up, and the spring tension grips hard without marking up your wood. You get 4 of them in a gift-ready box. They fit board thicknesses from 3/16 to 3/4 of an inch, and the body is polyamide, so they are light but seriously strong. Long glue-ups suddenly feel like a one-person job. Now, just in case you have been following so far and you are not exactly in the frame building demographic, I still have something for you. 7. Woodworking mortising machine. Alright, let's talk about mortises for a second. If you have ever tried chopping one out by hand, you already know the pain. Your wrist is wrecked by the 3rd joint, the walls never come out clean, and what should have been a quick task turns into your whole afternoon. That is where the CXRCY heavy-duty mortising machine comes in. It runs a pure copper 3/4 horsepower motor spinning at 3,400 revolutions per minute, which is strong enough to punch clean square holes straight through hardwood, softwood, even thick stock, without bogging down. You can use it for table legs, chair joints, bed frames, door frames, cabinet doors, and pretty much any project where 2 pieces of wood need to lock together the right way. And with the 3 sharpened chisel bits included, 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch, you can switch between joint sizes depending on the thickness of your boards. The solid cast iron build keeps it planted on the bench so the wood does not shift mid-cut. The reversible column lets you approach the workpiece from either side, and the transparent shield keeps flying chips out of your face. 6. Hotech 10-inch sliding compound miter saw. This next one is stupidly powerful, and that is exactly why it works. You know how regular miter saw maxes out on anything wider than a 2x6, and suddenly you are flipping boards and lining up cuts by eye? The Hotech 10-inch slider fixes that without you doing anything clever. It has a 15 amp, 1,800 watt motor spinning up to 4,500 revolutions per minute, and the sliding rail lets you cross-cut material up to 340 millimeters wide. It tilts 45 degrees to the left for bevel cuts, comes with a 40-tooth blade, extension bar, dust bag, wrenches, and spare carbon brushes, and works for both framing and finish trim with 0 changes. You set it up and forget it is a budget saw. Sometimes the best tool is the one that quietly handles a problem you have been working around for years. 5. 14-piece aluminum setup blocks. Now picture this. You walk into somebody's workshop and every cut on every project looks flawless. Router depths are dialed in, planer passes are exact, table saw blades are perfectly square, and the whole shop runs with this quiet precision that you just cannot figure out. That is the magic of setup blocks, and the reason they blew up is not just because of the hardware. It is because they replace guessing with certainty. This 14-piece aluminum kit lets you dial in heights and depths accurate to 1/1000th of an inch, and because you can stack them, the combinations are basically unlimited. The sizes run from 1/16 up to 3/4. They are CNC machined with an anodized finish, and the laser-engraved markings will not wear off after a few months of use. Your accuracy goes from close enough to, wait, how did you nail that? Real fast. 4. DeWalt 20-volt max orbital sander. You know that one thing every woodworker does when they finish a project? They sand it. And then they sand it again. And then the cord gets wrapped around the clamp, yanks the sander off the bench, and your afternoon is ruined. Well, now you do not have to deal with that. The DeWalt 20-volt max cordless orbital sander drops the cord entirely and runs on a brushless motor, which means longer runtime and way less wear over time. Speed is variable from 8,000 to 12,000 orbits per minute, so you can go gentle on delicate finish work or crank it for stock removal. It has a low-profile design that gets you right up to the edge of your workpiece, and the dust bag swaps one-handed. It has hook and loop pad changes, works with the entire 20-volt max battery lineup, and the ergonomic grip kills hand fatigue. The fact that it is cordless and still this powerful is what makes it different from the dozen other sanders out there. 3. Titebond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. You grab a bottle of glue, you squeeze it on, and that is it. Useful, but barely. Titebond 3 does something completely different. In the same amount of time any other wood glue takes to set, it creates a bond that is literally stronger than the wood itself. It is fully waterproof for outdoor projects, and it is food safe once cured, so you can use it on cutting boards without thinking twice. This is the kind of glue you would normally expect to be some specialty product, and it is sitting on the shelf at every hardware store. Clamp time is about 30 minutes, full cure in 24 hours, and cleanup is just water while it is still wet. It shifts the whole conversation from, will this joint hold, to actually trusting your glue-ups. 2. Wen 65306 Amp Electric Hand Planer. You know that one thing every woodworker dreads? Fitting a stubborn door that refuses to close? Or staring at a board with splinters, chips, and edges that look like a roller coaster? Sure, you could sand it for an hour, but that is technology from another decade. That is where the Wen 6 amp 3 1/4 inch electric hand planer comes in. It runs a 6 amp motor that delivers over 34,000 cuts per minute, slicing away irregularities until your boards are perfectly flat and square. You might be wondering the mechanics behind this. Well, it has 16 positive stops that dial in cutting depth from 0 to 1/8 inch, and a 5/16 inch rabbiting guide that handles rabbets up to an inch deep. The best part is that the whole thing weighs just 6 pounds and comes with a dust bag, kickstand, parallel fence, and a 2-year warranty. Door problems suddenly disappear. 1. Tino Wood Rooter Tool. Long projects, long weekends, long hours trying to shape edges by hand, and your wrists take the punishment for all of it. The Tino Compact Wood Rooter has a 1.25 horsepower motor, 6 variable speeds from 15,000 to 32,000 revolutions per minute, and a clear plastic base so you can actually see your cut line while you work. The shape is specifically designed for palm control, and the rubberized grip keeps it locked in your hand on long passes. It has smooth depth adjustment with a quick release lock, and comes with a 15-piece bit set, straight and roller guides, a circle cutting jig, a dust hood, 2 colettes, sandpaper, wrenches, spare brushes, and a carry case. The fact that it comes with everything you need to start rooting on day one is what makes it different from the dozen other palm routers out there. Alright, that is my rundown on 10 woodworking tools I think are genuinely worth a look in 2026. Whether you are just starting out with a whittling knife and a block of basswood, or you are building out a full shop with sanders, routers, and miter saws, hopefully something on this list clicked for you. I will drop links down in the description so you can check current prices, and if you end up grabbing any of these, come back and let me know how it worked out in the comments. I read every single one. If this helped you, smash that like button, subscribe for more reviews, and I will catch you in the next one.